Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. Folks, we are going to start off this program tonight with a salute to the United States of America. If you'll just bear with us, would you please rise to your feet right now and put your hand over your heart. Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We want to thank all of our men and women in the United States Armed Forces, wherever you might be this evening and in the future. May God bless you all. May God bless our allied men and women in their armed forces as well. God bless you. May you all return home to your families in safety when your tours of duty end. And thank you all for your service. We greatly appreciate it. I have gone through a lot of stuff today in regards to friends of mine who served in the United States Armed Forces. Several of them passed away now, I'm sorry to say. I love these men and women. They were my brothers and sisters and comrades in arms. Many of them rode with me as military police officers when they were assigned to me. It was a great honor to have them by my side. It was a great honor for them to be my partners and to me be theirs. They worked hard, they knew their business, and they played hard as well. These men and women are America's finest. They are America's finest. Now, I've also had opportunity to work with and be around Canadian Armed Forces Navy. They were awesome. They were also awesome. They were very caring. They were very personable people. They did their jobs well. And I want to thank them for their service as well. Folks, I want to talk to you about a few things. I want to first talk about this. As you can see, this is a train. This is a train load of Hispanic people on board a train headed for the United States border. Now, folks, this is a terrible state of affairs. This has been ongoing for probably 40, 50 years. I saw it when I was in San Diego. We, at one point, surrounded the train. We had law enforcement, we had Homeland Security all around them. We surrounded the train. They had nowhere else to go but into our custody. We put them in buses and sent them back to the border. They didn't like it. They had already escaped probably 20, 25 miles up into the city of San Diego, and we took them down. This is still happening throughout the world. This is happening at our borders today. Hundreds of men and women are on board trains headed for the United States. They will make it there too. They will make it to the border. They will be coming into our borders, and there's not a darn thing we can do to stop it until this stupid butthead of a president, and yes, I'm going to call the communist a communist. That's what he is. He's allowed communist infiltrators to come into this country. Very soon, we're going to have serious problems. You can hear these men and women cheering, knowing that nobody's going to stop them. Hundreds of men and women around the world. Africa, Malaysia, China, Russians, and even people from the Middle East, from Palestine, from Lebanon, Syria and Turkey. We've seen them hit our borders. Folks, it's a thing of proven territory now. We've watched them drop their IDs at the border, so we cannot check in to see who they really are. We know for a fact, because our law enforcement have caught them on this side of the border, that many of them are also criminals from the countries that they escaped from. And they've come here to America to cause more problems. We've got to stop it. We've talked about the solutions to this problem. The solution is to impeach the buttheads that we have in charge. And I'm not just talking about the president and the vice president. We need to impeach the entire administration. That's the only way this thing will stop. We also need to bring in new blood in our communities, new blood into Washington, D.C. Right now, Washington, D.C. is a stagnant mess. It's a Democrat communist enclave. I'm calling it an enclave. I'm telling you that it's a cache of communists that have taken over Washington, D.C. Only once in a very short time period they will allow conservative people into Washington, and then they'll throw us back out. They've been doing it. I'm asking the Lord to bless us that we might get rid of these people that have infiltrated our country and get rid of these politicians. This morning, at 10 o'clock this morning, Jim Jordan, who is chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, He's been up for Speaker of the House. Republicans defeated him for the third day in a row. Republicans took him down. They do not want him as a speaker. So what does that mean? The Democrat Party in the House is still trying to get their minority speaker elected to the speakership of the House of Representatives. If that's the case, the Democrats will control the House, and they already control the Senate. We need to get people in there. We need to get people in there that will do the damn job. We need to get people in there that will kick some butt. And yes, I'm a little bit peeved. I spoke to my friends in the Senate and the Congress earlier today, and they are not happy either. I guess we're just going to see what happens come Monday, because nothing's going to happen during the weekend. The Democrats are rejoicing because they have got some, what should I say, some power right now to try to do the things that they want to do without the Republicans doing it. We've also got another problem. We've talked about this before as well. We've got a problem in Israel. Actually, it's not even in Israel anymore. It's all over the Middle East. We've got communists breathing down their backs in the Middle East, wanting World War III. Kimberly Hopkins just gave us another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kim. We do appreciate that. God bless you for that. That means a great deal to us. Thank you so much. Hurricane Heather says Jim Jordan got scammed. That is some BS. I agree. I totally agree. All I can do now is pray, and that's one of the things that all of us need to do, is pray that we can get Jesus Christ in there to help us clean house. We need some heavenly help, honestly. That's the only way things will get cleared up. It's hard to even say that. It's hard to even say that. Anyway, folks, before I really get kicked off here tonight, I want to thank you all for your support. Last night, right before we got off the air, Juby Joe just had given us $200 super chat. And before that, someone else gave us another $10 super chat. It was Laura Marie, and I appreciate that as well. Folks, please, we need your support. We need your love. You can also support us by going to Venmo, by going to PayPal. All three of those locations are in the just under the program description, or just under this program today that you're watching this video, and it's in the top of the program description. You also have our post office box here on the banner on the front of the program here today. You can send support there as well. We appreciate it. I've only gotten one thing in the mail in the past 2 weeks, and that's pretty sad. I used to get something in the mail at least once every other day, and that's not the case anymore. I just want to thank all of you who do support us. It means the world to us. One of the things we got here, Rob52 is a dear friend of ours, as I've said before. He sent us a card to my own post office location here at my home, and I really appreciate that. A beautiful card. Right now, there's a lot going on. Please, folks, please help support us. We do need your help. As I stated last night, Yesterday morning I had a doctor's appointment. I still have some issues. I had another test for cancer as well. I have not gotten the results as of yet. I have another appointment with my other doctor to get a very expensive shot next Friday. And then I have an appointment with him on November 8th after that to get some results of some tests that are being done. So I also need your prayers. I appreciate that. Lorraine Blumgren says Governor Newsom from the state of California is heading to Israel. He's only going to ramp things up. Newsom has his own agenda, and that's to stir problems up in the Middle East, and that's what I believe he will do. Newsom has his own agenda, and his own agenda only. He has nothing good to say about anybody but himself. He's trying to run for president. That's the only reason I can see that he's even going to Israel. He's worthless. Newsom is worthless. He's a relative by marriage to Nancy Pelosi. He and his family are deeply embedded in the Democrat Communist Party. And he's driving the state of California into hell. I'm sorry to just say that because I know a lot of you people a lot of us live in California. I used to claim that I would never leave California because I love surfing. I used to live in San Diego. And that's the truth. I used to tell everybody I would not leave. But after prices prices were always high. They were skyrocketing when I left. Taxes were going up, and gangs were stalking me in California. If I hadn't left in April 2000, I'd probably be dead by now. Gangs were stalking me at every location. If I was out at an accident scene, I had gang members there taking pictures and harassing me. If I was on a traffic stop, they showed up at traffic stops and were harassing me and trying to take pictures. I'm so glad to be out of California, it's not even funny. Kimberly Hopkins says she's watching her grandkids. I'm very excited about that. Some of you that know me very well know that because of my ex-wife, I probably will never see my own grandkids in this lifetime. I only pray that their parents, my own children, will raise them right. One of my own daughters has told me that she's told my grandkids that I'm dead. That's a fine that's a fine sentiment from my ex-wife. It's sad. But anyway, let's pray for each other. Let's pray for each other. Lorraine Blumgren says Ron speaks the truth. I try. I never try to lie. I haven't done that in a long time. I just don't do that. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is a funny one that I picked up yesterday. You picked a fine time to leave me loose, wheel. 400 miles and a crop in the field. I can't get a new wheel, I don't have the money, and here you want to fly off my car. It's a fine time to leave me loose, wheel. Yeah, I'll probably get a copyright strike for that one. Anyway, I thought that was funny. I'm trying to take some of the load off here. Last weekend, here in North Carolina, we got our first snow. A few weeks ago, Utah got theirs. This is at one of the highest points here in North Carolina, 6,665 feet above sea level. we got our first snow. It's since melted, but we got our first snow. I haven't seen any where we live. I was not able to get up Sunday morning and drive up to the snow, and I probably won't do that unless it's here near where I live. It was too dangerous. As you can see, cars were parked all over the interstate, and people really couldn't go anywhere. People were advised to stay out of the mountains if you didn't already live there. Kimberly Hopkins is asking, did Kenny Rogers sing that? Yes, he did. In a lot of years, I met Kenny Rogers. It was quite something. He's a good man too. Anyway, I'm going to save the last picture for the end of this program. Yesterday afternoon, we had a 6.0 earthquake that hit the municipality of Bongabani, Davao, Mindanao Island, Philippines. 6.0. USGS immediately downgraded it to a 5.7. A short time later, they upgraded it to a 5.9. That earthquake was at least a 6.1. And I'm going to show you documentation of that right now. This is where that earthquake hit, over on the southeast side of Mindanao Island, Philippines. Now, if I were to show you this location on another map, unfortunately, the other map that I had has been lost. There were two high schools within about a 10-minute drive from where this earthquake hit. This was in the southeast mountains of Mindanao Island, Philippines. As you can see where Davao City is, that's the capital city of Mindanao Island. Okay? That's the biggest city. We've seen 6.5 and 7.0 and 7.4 earthquakes hit this area. This 6.1. As you can see, it's labeled a 5.9. That was after they downgraded it and then brought it back up to 5.9. It was actually a 6.1 earthquake. But like I said, the map that I had here last night is gone. They took it down off my software. But folks, that was a good sized earthquake. That was a really good sized earthquake. It's hard to talk about sometimes. Okay? This is the earthquake as we saw it today. We see 6 or 7 hours of VLF waves. Okay? VLF waves. This is helioplot, by the way. Okay? You can see the main line where that earthquake hit. You can see the secondary wave. You can see the body wave. Well, folks, the body wave continued for 6 or 7 hours. So, folks, if they say it's at 5.9, I'm going to tell you it's probably a 6.1 earthquake, at least. 5 hours of body wave, what I call VLF waves. Okay? Earth continued to shake for about 6 to 7 hours after the main shake. You can see the main shake happened, and it lasted probably about 30 seconds. 30 seconds of 6.0, very strong earthquake shaking. 8,000 people felt that earthquake. 8,000 people felt that earthquake. And that's interesting, because folks, on Mindanao Island there's over 1 million people that live there. 8,000 people felt that shaking going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, today we've had more earthquakes. I'm going to show you the USGS map. Even though I probably should, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay? I'm only going to cover those earthquakes that they show here. The major earthquakes of the day. Now, we don't have any major 7.0, 8, 9, 10.0 earthquakes. All the earthquakes that we have here that are of any consequence are large quakes. 5.0, 5.5, 5.6, and that's about it. Okay? Let's go over here to the Izu Islands off the southeast coast of Japan. This is a 4.5 earthquake. This is a moderate 4.5. Last week, the smallest earthquake that we had here was a 4.5. Most of the time, we had 30 to 40 earthquakes, and most of those were 5.0 to 5.9 here in the Izu Islands. We had several earthquakes there here in the Izu Islands that were 6.5. 6.5. Over here closer to Japan, we have this earthquake here. It's a 4.4. A moderate 4.4, still off in the Pacific Ocean. This earthquake was 216 miles deep. 216 miles deep. Because of the depth of the earthquake and the strength of this earthquake, I believe we're still going to see a 5.0 to 5.2 earthquake as a result of this deep earthquake. A 5.0 to 5.2 earthquake as a result of this 4.4 here. This other earthquake in the Izu Islands, it was a relatively shallow earthquake, 21 miles deep. 21 miles deep. Further south here in the Mariana Island Trench here, this is a 5.8 down here. This is 105 miles southwest of Marizo Village, Guam. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake. That is a very large earthquake. It was off in the ocean. It was nowhere near Guam. It was over 105 miles southwest of Guam. Nowhere near Guam. You can see the island of Guam here. The ocean waters absorbed the strength of this earthquake. A very strong earthquake here. A very strong earthquake we usually have as 6.0 to 6.9. This is just below that threshold. This is still a very large earthquake. I believe this seismic energy is going to continue to go north. The depth on this earthquake was 22 miles deep. Still a very shallow earthquake today. Okay? We go into Indonesia here. Tebelo, Indonesia. This is a 4.6 moderate quake here. This is 143 miles deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake here. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. This earthquake here is a 5.1. A large 5.1 earthquake. This earthquake hit here over in the northwestern Indonesia area. This is 42 miles southeast of Tondano, Indonesia. Tondano, Indonesia. We've had earthquakes here before. We're going to have more earthquakes again. This is offshore from any island here in Indonesia. I believe the seismic energy was absorbed by the ocean water here. Nobody felt this earthquake, I don't believe. It's a large earthquake though. If anybody felt anything, it was maybe some movement beneath their feet, and that's about all. Not a big deal. This is also just over 40 miles deep. Okay? It's in the crust of the earth. This was a tectonic plate earthquake. We move over to the southeast here. This is another 5.0 earthquake. A 5.0 earthquake. This is in Seram, Indonesia. Seram, Indonesia is a populated island. Okay? This is a populated island. Where it hit is very sparsely populated. It's mostly industrial and forested area. As you can see, it is occupied. There are homes and there may be some businesses in this location, but it's sparsely occupied. This was a 5.0 large earthquake. USGS later downgraded it to a 4.8, upgraded to 4.9. You know I don't trust the 0.9 society. The 0.9 society can't tell us the truth. All right, let's keep on going here. Okay? Over here is another earthquake. This is Agats, A-G-A-T-S, Indonesia. This is another 4.4 moderate earthquake. This is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Not a big deal. Moderate earthquakes only do moderate damage, knock things off of walls, knock things off of shelves. This is an area, folks, where people don't have houses like we do. They don't have houses that are built strongly. I believe moderate earthquakes could knock these huts down. I believe they could knock huts down. Most of the people live here in mud, cardboard, and wooden shacks. Okay? It's a sad, sad deal. It's also in the tropics down here. 4.4 moderate earthquake here. 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? Over in Papua New Guinea. Okay? This is near Kimbe, Papua New Guinea. This is another large 5.0 earthquake. A large 5.0 earthquake. This is just off the coast. East-northeast of Kimbe, Papua New Guinea. Right here. The ocean waters absorb the shock wave, or most of the shock waves, from that earthquake. Kimbe, Papua New Guinea is spared. They may have felt some light shaking there, but that's all they felt. They got spared a big one. Let's go further east here. Okay? I want to go over here. This is in southeast of the Fiji Islands. This is another 4.4 earthquake. The bad thing is, this is 361 miles deep. It's out in the ocean. Nobody even felt this earthquake. But this earthquake is going to propagate a much larger earthquake. This 4.4 is going to propagate a 5.5 to a 5.6 large earthquake. Very large earthquake. Mid-range 5 earthquake. Okay? Some of you might ask that are new here, how can this earthquake propagate anything? Because these deep earthquakes can propagate stronger, more shallow earthquakes, and that's what's going on here. This was a moderate earthquake, very deep. Deep earthquakes propagate more shallow, more destructive earthquakes, and that's what's going to happen now. This could go north into the Tongan Islands, where this earthquake is. This is a 4.7. It's only 10 kilometers deep. A moderate 4.7 in the Tonga region. 10 kilometers deep. 6.2 miles deep. As we've seen already, we've had several other 6.2 miles deep. Folks, I need to tell you this so you can understand depth ratios. USGS commonly is said that if they don't know exactly how deep an earthquake is, they just drop a 6.2 mile deep earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? They may not know how strong this earthquake is. I think they do. Like the earthquakes, they do not want to be honest with us. They will never be honest with us. Never. Deep earthquakes propagate shallower, stronger earthquakes. This was a shallow depth, a 4.7 earthquake. We've seen many earthquakes just like it in this area. We're going to see more of them. A lot more of them. See where this earthquake is in relationship to that red line? That red line, folks, is an earthquake fault. This is the Tongan Trench. Along the Tongan Trench. South and west of there, this is a 4.4 earthquake. A separate and distinct earthquake, probably 1,000 miles southwest of the earthquake in Tonga. This is south of the Fiji Islands here. This is also a 361 mile deep earthquake. A 361 mile deep earthquake. This earthquake is going to propagate at least a 5.5 to 5.6 earthquake. This is probably going to, like I said, either go to Tonga. That 5.6 could be over in Fiji. It could go over into the Solomon Islands. It could go further east into Chile and Argentina. It could go west into Papua New Guinea or even over into Indonesia. But it is a deep earthquake. Okay? Now, I'm going to take you further south. There is an earthquake here. This is along the same Tongan Trench just north of New Zealand. This is a 4.6 earthquake. This is also a very shallow earthquake, 37 miles deep. Okay? It's off the northeast coast of the North Island of New Zealand. Now, the United States Geological Survey is not showing any earthquakes at all in this area. That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. When they're not showing anything, that's because they're showing their stupidity. There are plenty of earthquakes in New Zealand. Plenty of earthquakes in New Zealand. Let me show you this. Okay? Let me show you this. See all these earthquakes in New Zealand? That is what really happened in New Zealand today. Plenty of earthquakes. Most of these earthquakes are 2.3, 3.4, 3.6 earthquakes. This is also something else on here. It's a Fiji Trench. Okay? Let's back out of there. See this earthquake, that 4.4? That's a deep earthquake. Look where it's at. It's just west of the Fiji Trench there. That trench coming out of Fiji running into New Zealand here. The first earthquake just north of the Catcher's Mitt, north of the Bay of Plenty. That's a 3.0 earthquake. Along that same earthquake trench, earthquake superhighway. Okay? South of there, right near land, this is a 2.2 earthquake. A 2.2 earthquake. We go further east here. A 2.35 in the Bay of Plenty, and also a 2.31. Minor earthquakes. minor earthquakes. Then we go over on the main island of New Zealand. Look at the 3 earthquakes there. They're in a horizontal line, aren't they? They're on a horizontal line. Okay? They are south of Topo Volcano. See the lake there? That is Topo Volcano. This one earthquake nearest Topo Lake, this is near Wallaroo military area. This is a 2.39 earthquake. That's a 2.39 earthquake near a New Zealand military reservation. Okay? East of there, this is near Hawke's Bay. This is a 2.44 magnitude earthquake, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, right along the coast. Again, it's in line with all 3 of these other earthquakes. There are two other earthquakes. This is the other that's in line on the west side. This is a 2.35 at Waverley, Taranaki, New Zealand. Waverley, Taranaki, New Zealand. It's a 2.35 earthquake. Okay? Then we go over here to the body of water between the North and South Island of New Zealand. Okay? This is interesting because this is the Cook Strait. This is called the Cook Strait. We have a This is a 2.23 earthquake in the Cook Strait. In previous broadcasts, when we've been over in Alaska, the strait, or the body of water between the peninsula of Alaska and the outer eastern part of Alaska is called the Cook Inlet. This is the Cook Strait. Okay? Then, down on the South Island of New Zealand, we have 5 earthquakes. 5 earthquakes. Let's take a look at these. These are important as well. Over here in the mountainous area, and there are some people living here. Over here in the western mountainous area of New Zealand, we have a 2.32. A 2.32 earthquake. Then, on that same fault zone that goes straight through the North Island of New Zealand coming out of Fiji, on that same fault zone, folks, we have 3 more earthquakes. This is near Canterbury, New Zealand. This is a 2.44 earthquake. 2.44 earthquake. South of there, a 2.63. This is a populated area of New Zealand. South of there, Island Hills, Canterbury, New Zealand, we have a 2.71. A 2.71 on the earthquake fault. Okay? Then further south, in the center of the southern island, we have a 2.51. Now you might say, why is Ron showing us these minor earthquakes? Because, folks, these minor earthquakes have ramped up here. We have a lot more energy here. One other earthquake on the south part of the island. Okay? This is Southland Park, New Zealand. South Park, New Zealand. This is a 2.72 earthquake here. It's again on the edge of the plate here, on the earthquake superhighway. Okay? That's what's really going on in New Zealand. Now you understand why there's so many earthquakes there. Right on top of that earthquake superhighway. Okay? Now, You guys are talking about, at least Richard Smith is, talking about a 4.9 off of Chiapas, southern Mexico. You're absolutely right, there is. Okay? This earthquake here, it's on the borderline of Guatemala and southern Mexico. It's also offshore. This is 73 miles west-southwest of Puerto Madero, Mexico. The state of Chiapas, New Mexico. It's a 5.0 large earthquake. They can say it's a 4.9. I'm going to tell you it's a large earthquake over here on the fault zone. On the fault zone. This is also here a 4.4. A moderate 4.4, 6.2 miles deep. The large earthquake, also 6.2 miles deep. Isn't interesting? The interesting thing to note here is they're not showing any other earthquakes here. That is a travesty. That's a travesty of justice. Because guess what, guys? There's a lot more earthquakes there that they're not telling us about. They're not telling us about. Now, this I'm showing you is the European map. Lately, the European map has also not been showing us all of the earthquakes. This one is here showing us this large earthquake here. It's also showing a 4.4 and another 4.0 here. That's the other 4.0. 3 earthquakes there. 3 earthquakes. One is the 5.0. The other 2 are 4s. The other 2 are 4s there. South of there is El Salvador. This earthquake in El Salvador is a 2.26 magnitude earthquake. El Salvador. Now I'm going to show you something. This is just a minor earthquake, folks. Just a minor earthquake. This is in a lake. This is in a lake in El Salvador. This is a minor earthquake also. Nobody even felt that earthquake. There's no way it could be felt. No way. Again, they're not showing all the earthquakes there. They used to. Apparently there's been someone that's gotten with the agencies and they've all come together saying, oh, don't show all the earthquakes. Because up until a few weeks ago there was 20 to 30 earthquakes there every day. Now they're only showing a handful or none. All the agencies are showing the same thing. It's not the truth. It never will be the truth. Okay? I want to show you this. This is a 2.66 near Snoqualmie, Washington. A 2.26 near Snoqualmie, Washington today. Okay? Then, they don't show anything else, do they? I can tell you this. If I went to show you the seismograms, there'd be plenty of earthquakes and tremors all up and down this entire area. They're just not showing it. Down in the southern part of the Cascade subduction zone region, right here, just west of the Triple Junction. This is a 3.32 earthquake, west of Petrolia, California, 35 miles west of Petrolia, California, on the Gorda Escarpment. On the Gorda Escarpment. We still are having earthquakes out here. Almost directly east. This is Redway, California. It's a 1.8 minor tremor. I believe this is also on another fault zone here. On another fault zone here. running directly off of the Gourd Escarpment. Okay? Then we go south. This is Brook Trails, California. It's a 1.7. 1.7 tremor. We go further south, 100 miles north of San Francisco Bay. What do we have here? This area is called the Geysers. The area is the Geysers. What do we have here? This is a geothermal facility, just like we have down in the Costa Volcano area, just like we have in the Imperial Valley area of California, just south of the Salton Butte volcano. What man has done here in the geysers area is they've drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam to power turbines here at the geysers facility to generate electricity. That's what they're doing here, guys. Okay? Right here. Let me show you this. See this building here? This bank of turbines here? There's 7 turbines here. 7 turbines here. Every one of these earthquakes are a result of man digging into the crust of the earth to pull steam out of the volcano to power these turbines. When the seismic energy hits these man-made earthquake faults, that's what they are. There's holes in the ground, man-made earthquake faults. Every time seismic energy hits it, it shatters rock. It fractures the rock inside the hole, causing the earth to move. Most of these are just no more than tremors. 1.5, 1.7, 1.0, 1.2 tremors, and microquakes as well. Sometimes we get larger earthquakes than that. 3.0 is even 4.0. 4.0 is a moderate earthquake. 3.0 is a small earthquake. 2.0 is a minor earthquake. Okay? This is a 1.1 tremor right near that same turbine facility. Okay? There's a hole in the ground. There's a hole in the ground. And because of that hole in the ground, we're getting an earthquake. Up here, this is a 1.1. Further south here is a 1.1. But there's probably 30 earthquakes in this area today. This is normal. This is absolutely normal. This red one is the newest one that hit. Just hit a short time ago. This is a 1.0 tremor here as well. Okay? But I want to make sure you knew why these earthquakes are hitting. Down here also, this is Middletown, California. It's a 2.0 earthquake. This is a 1.3 here in Angwin, California as well. Okay? San Francisco Bay. San Francisco Bay. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. A 2.1 earthquake near Pinole, California. P-I-N-O-L-E. P-I-N-O-L-E, California. Okay? We go further south here. This one is on the Hayward Fault. See this red line on the western side of San Francisco Bay? That's a San Andreas. This earthquake fault that I just lit up to you on the fault, on the Hayward Fault. This is Alum, California. This is a 2.7 minor earthquake here on the fault line. This is a 1.1 also near Alum, California on the Hayward Fault. We come further south. This one is on the San Andreas Fault. This is in Aromas, California. This is east of Monterey Bay, as you can see here. We go further south also on the San Andreas. This is Pinnacles, California. This is a 2.1 earthquake. Minor earthquake over here in Pinnacles. The Pinnacles area is not just on the San Andreas Fault, this is also an oil and gas fault as well. Oil and gas earthquake as well. Further south, this is something that most people don't even realize. This is a 1.4 tremor, but in this case, it's on the San Andreas Fault at a special location. This is called Parkfield, California, earthquake capital of California. More earthquakes have happened here in Parkfield than anywhere else in California. Parkfield, California today, a 1.4 tremor. Okay? Then we go further south, we don't have too many more here on the San Andreas, but we go north. Okay? Right here. This is the junction of the San Andreas Fault and the Garlock Fault. The San Andreas and the Garlock Fault here, it's a junction. This is called Fraser, California. Fraser, California. Today we don't have any earthquakes here, but we frequently have earthquakes here nonetheless. We followed the Garlock Fault northeast. We don't have any earthquakes right alongside the Garlock Fault. However, if we go north here, this is Tehachapi. 15 miles north of Tehachapi, we have a 1.2 tremor here. A 1.2 tremor. Look where it's at. Okay? Look where it's at. This is a volcanic area. This is in a volcanic area, guys. That's the reason we're having this earthquake here. Yes, it's north of the Tehachapi area. Tehachapi is one of the most dangerous areas anyway, not just for earthquakes. It's just a very dangerous area. This area here is Kernville, California. It's a 1.1 tremor here, also a volcanic area. This is Inyokern, California, also a volcanic area, 1.2 tremor. We go further north and east here. This is Ridgecrest, California. Today this is a tremor here. It's 0.9, 1.0 tremor here. Right next to it is a 0.8 microquake here in Ridgecrest. This is the Mojave Desert, folks. Okay? This is a 0.8 in Little Lake, California. Notice all these earthquakes are on the line here in the Mojave Desert. Okay? This earthquake here, this is Kozo Junction. Kozo Junction is a volcanic area. Kozo Junction here is a volcanic area. Okay, hold on here. It's not doing what I needed to do. So I'm going to make it do what I needed to do. When USGS freezes the map, I fix it. I unfreeze it. There's a reason why I'm going to do this, because I want to make sure you guys realize where these earthquakes are. I think it's very important that we understand where these earthquakes are. Okay? Okay, that's Kernville. Told you about that. This is Kozo Volcano, Kozo Junction. It's not just one volcano, there are many volcanoes here. It's called Devil's Kitchen. This is also here a geothermal area where man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Kozo volcanoes to obtain steam to generate electricity here. Okay? So this is a 1.6 tremor here at Coastal Volcano. Okay? Just so you know. Just so you know. This is a hotbed for activity here in the desert. I've been there. I've been there. Let's go further east. Okay? This is Blue Diamond, Nevada. Literally out in the desert area of Nevada. This is a 1.5 tremor out here at Blue Diamond, Nevada. Now this is an area where we've had earthquakes and we've had atomic energy tests. Out here in the desert area of Nevada. Okay? We've had atomic tests out in this area. All over this area. So it's not surprising to get an earthquake out here. It's not surprising at all. At all. As you can see, we've got some earthquakes here in Southern California. This earthquake is Home Gardens. Okay? Again, they're calling this a quarry blast. Okay? They're calling it a quarry blast. It's nowhere near a quarry. It's miles away from a quarry. It's also a mile and a half deep. This is not a quarry blast. This is a 1.7 tremor. A 1.7 tremor. USGS, eat your shorts. I don't know why they can even think this is a quarry blast. They don't blast 2 miles down here for a quarry. It's not done. Plus, if you look closely, it's not that far from homes. It's not that far from a development of homes. Look at homes throughout this area. And they're going to take and detonate TNT in this area? Not a chance. Not a chance. It's not going to happen. Okay? Not going to happen. Anyway, further south. This is Wildomar, California, 1.6 tremor. 6.6 miles deep. Unreal. Further north here. Redlands, California. Redlands, California. This is a 1.1 tremor and also 1.0 tremor. This is just south of the San Andreas Fault. South of the San Andreas Fault. What do we have here? This is the Anza Gap. This is the Anza Gap. This is the reason we're getting earthquakes out here. Okay? The Anza Gap out here. Further south here, this is Palomar Observatory in northeast San Diego County. Palomar Observatory. This is a 1.3 tremor on the Elsinore Fault. The Elsinore Fault here. Okay? Here we have a 0.6 in Lake Henshaw, California. My old fishing grounds northeast of Escondido. Lake Henshaw has 0.6 and a 0.9 tremor here. My old fishing spot in northeast San Diego, California. Okay? Up here on top of the Chocolate Mountains. This is a 1.2. They're saying is at Ocotillo Wells. This is Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs here. Okay? It's the Anza Gap. It's the Anza Gap. Down here in the Imperial Valley today. El Centro. El Centro, California. Okay? This is a 1.7 tremor here in El Centro. Juanito? Juanito is the first person in our program tonight. Juanito lives here in El Centro. This is just a tremor down here. Okay? Just a small, minor tremor. 7.2 miles deep. Okay? That's what's going on up and down the west coast of California. Okay? We have more information than that. we go west. This is over on the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. Challis, Stanley, Idaho. A 1.8 tremor here. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 minor earthquake on the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. Okay? Challis, Idaho, Stanley, Idaho area are on the western side of the magma chamber for the Yellowstone volcano. Further north, this is western Montana 1.5, also in the western part of the Yellowstone magma chamber. The magma chamber of Yellowstone volcano is 11 Grand Canyons in size. 11 Grand Canyons in size. Okay? Go down here to southwestern Texas. Oil and gas fracking operations here. Oil and gas fracking operations. There's a swarm of earthquakes here. Okay? This is a 2.0 earthquake here. This is a 1.8 tremor here. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. Heidi Petrick just gave us a $2 super chat. Thank you, Heidi. We really appreciate that. God bless you, dear. God bless you. Down here, Toya, Texas. This is also oil and gas here. This is a 2.2 tremor. This is a 2.4 up here in Mentone, Texas. All oil and gas operations. Oil and gas all over this area. Let me try to zoom in here to Mentone, Texas. I'll show you this. Okay. Oh, dadgummit. They're not going to let me get close enough here. Well, let me see if I can do it another way. See if I can do it another way. Well, the Europeans don't have Mentone, Texas. So, let me do this. This is Toya, Texas. Okay, this is Toya, Texas. Just to give you an idea. If there's an earthquake within 6 to 10 miles of an oil and gas facility, it's an oil and gas quake. This earthquake here in Toya, Texas, this is a 2.20 earthquake. It's a 2.2 earthquake. Look over here to the bottom left-hand side. That is an oil and gas holding pond. Okay? That is water. That is a treated water area here that they force down into the depths of the earth to pull oil and gas out. This is an oil and gas quake. It's an oil and gas quake. Okay? Mentone, Texas. Just a second, let me pull it up here. Mentone, Texas, guys, look at this. Oil and gas plots right there. Oil and gas facilities right there. Mentone, Texas. That's why we're having earthquakes there. No doubt in my mind what's going on there. Anybody have any questions so far? Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Let's go down here to Falls City, Texas. Falls City, Texas. Look at this. I want to show you this. oil and gas all the way here. This is a 3.7 earthquake. 3.7 earthquake. Look at the oil and gas pumping facilities here. Literally all over. This is right smack dab in an oil field. A 3.7 magnitude earthquake in an oil and gas pumping facility. Just here to the northeast of there is another 1.9 here, 8 miles east-northeast of Falls City, Texas. Okay? And north of there. This is a straight line. This is another 2.0 earthquake here. Look at the oil and gas pumping operations here in Texas near this earthquake. This is also right smack dab in the oil field. Okay? A 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Oklahoma. Minco, Oklahoma. Let me show you this. Okay? Look at this swarm here. That's a 1.5 tremor. This is a 1.3. This one's a 1.6. This one's a 1.9 2.0. That's a 2.1. This is a 2.1. Minco, Oklahoma. Swarm of earthquakes, huh? What do we have here? Oil and gas, guys. Oil and gas right there. Oil and gas all over this place here. Not as prevalent as over there in Texas that I showed you, but these are oil and gas quakes over here in Minco, Texas as well. Okay? Let's go up here. So you can see these oil and gas pumps and jacks here as well. Look at that. They're literally everywhere. Oklahoma has 586,000 pumps and jacks all over that area. I have no idea how many Texas has, but Oklahoma has 586,000 pumps and jacks, and they're proud of it. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that. Over here in Puerto Rico, okay, just southeast of the Dominican Republic here. This is the 3.0 earthquake just off the coast of the Dominican Republic. Just north of the Mona Passage here. The Mona Passage here. Northwest of Puerto Rico. This is a 3.2 earthquake. This is northwest of San Antonio, Puerto Rico. Down here to the south, this is a 2.8 earthquake here. This is an aftershock of the 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes that happened here 4 years ago. An aftershock. This earthquake up here is over here on the Cayman Ridge. The Cayman Ridge. This is a 3.7 earthquake. 83 miles north of Charlotte, Maui, U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay? The Cayman Ridge is responsible for those earthquakes over here. Any questions about that? No questions about that? Look here in Europe. This is a sad day. They're not claiming any earthquakes at all. There's earthquakes over here in Iran. There's earthquakes over here in Turkey, especially right here. Earthquakes here in Turkey and Syria, all over this area. Aftershocks of a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that happened here earlier this year. Earthquakes all over here. Earthquakes over here in Greece. Earthquakes over here in Italy. Earthquakes over here in France and Germany and Austria. Switzerland. Earthquakes over here in Spain. Earthquakes over here between Spain and Morocco here. Why? There happens to be an earthquake fault here. That's why. Okay? Earthquakes over here in the Azores here. They're not talking about anything, are they? They're delinquents. They're delinquents. Okay? The only other place I want to stop now is over here in Alaska. Okay? I want to talk about this. Okay? Northwest of here just a week ago, we had a 6.3 earthquake. Today we're having a 4.1 here near Atka, Alaska. A week ago we had a 6.3 here. Now this is a 4.1 moderate quake. Further east, this is a 4.3 here. A 4.3 earthquake here. We go up into Alaska here, guys. That was in the Aleutian Islands. These earthquakes here, these are foreshocks of a big earthquake here. What is happening here? This happens to be Old Ililama volcano. Old Ililama volcano is waking up. Look at these earthquakes here. Southeast of there, a 2.0 near Karluk, Alaska. Look at all these earthquakes at the volcano. Okay? 0.0, 0.6 surface quakes. Really? Surface quakes, 5.2 miles deep. This is minus 0.3. 5 miles deep. Above sea level. Incredible. Again, these are all at Old Ililama volcano. You can see it there. Okay? The whole area is moving. Up here, this area is also moving. What do we have here? Can you see Mount Redoubt? USGS says this is 40 miles east-northeast of Pedro Bay. No, it's not 40 miles east-northeast of Pedro Bay. This is Mount Redoubt. Mount Redoubt. Minus 0.8. You need to also know this is 2.8 miles deep. It's not above sea level. It's 2.8 miles deep at a volcano. This is a 1.0 here. This is also 1.7 miles deep. Look at these earthquakes in the Cook Inlet here. This is the Cook Inlet. This is a 0.8 tremor here. This is a 1.9 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.2 earthquake near Anchor Point. This earthquake here is a 2.9 3.0 near Anchor Point here. Okay? We go up further, closing in on Anchorage, Alaska. This is a 1.4 tremor near Nikiski, Alaska. This is a 1.2 there. We're getting closer to Anchorage, aren't we? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This one here. This is right across the bay from Anchorage. This is a 1.5 tremor here near Point McKenzie, Alaska. This red earthquake just happened here. This is a 1.5. A 1.5 near Big Lake, Alaska, northeast of Anchorage. Let me show you Anchorage here. Anchorage is sitting right here. This, folks, is Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska. Okay? Now, I want to show you something. With all these earthquakes in southern Alaska here, southern Alaska, Denali, Alaska, Denali National Park. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This is near Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley. South of McKinley here, also 1.1 in Denali National Park. I'm going to show you another earthquake. They say this is north or southeast of Denali. No, it's not. It's northeast of Denali. This is a 1.5 tremor northeast of Denali National Park. Okay? This tremor here This is a 1.5. They say this is southwest of Cantwell, Alaska. What a bunch of crap. Northeast of Cantwell, Alaska. We go up into central Alaska here. This is a 2.5 near Fox, Alaska. Southwest of there, we have a 1.5 near 4 Mile Road. 4 Mile Road. Another 1.2 here as well. Okay? Why am I taking you here? 2 reasons. Over here. This is an aftershock of an earthquake that hit here 3 years ago. This is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake at Kobuk, Alaska. Kobuk, Alaska. This is an aftershock of a 6.3 earthquake that hit here. An aftershock of a 6.3 earthquake that hit here 3 years ago. Okay? Then, today, and they've taken this down. They've taken it down. Over here at Arctic Village, just south of what's the town called? It's just south of the oil and gas producing areas here. Anyway, this is Arctic Village. They took this one down too. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. There was a 2.3 earthquake earlier today, right here. Okay, I want to show you that. Okay, it's all moving. The whole earth is moving. Every plate around this earth is moving. I've shown you it. I showed it to you. USGS doesn't have to show us anything. They're a bunch of stupid idiots. Anyway, this is also Preparedness Friday. I promised you that I would come prepared to talk about at least one issue that you guys wanted me to talk about. I saw that my dear friend Don Patok was here. God bless you, Don. We appreciate you and your wife both. We're saying prayers for all of you. You and your entire family. We love you, brother. We appreciate you more than anything. God bless you. God bless your wife. God bless your family. You guys are special. So special. Anyway, Nathan Hester's here in the chat. He says his survival kit comes in a box with sealed food bags, easy to move around. I have that same issue here. I've got a great big huge, I can't say huge, I've got a great big large plastic tote with my food in it. I advise all of you to find totes for your food stuff. Anytime you have emergency food or food that you want to shelter away for your preparedness kit, get totes. Get totes. If boxes get wet, your food is ruined. If you have totes, your food has a chance of staying good because it's protected from the elements. Okay? Use totes whenever possible. Okay. I want to talk to you tonight about something that you guys asked me to talk about last night. Okay? That is, I want to talk to you about how to not panic. How to not panic when you're in the midst of an emergency or right before one hits. Okay? Right before an emergency hits, most people lose their minds. All of you, because you've been watching this channel, are more used to seeing our news happen in front of us and things happening that frightens a lot of people. Some people panic. Because we talked about this, because we worked through it, we explained what's going on. Most people here are not going to panic. You might be worried that something's going to happen. Yes, it is going to happen. But when a safety incident occurs, it's human nature to panic. It's human nature to get a little bit riled. It's human nature to get a little bit upset. Even first responders struggle to stay calm. I did. I struggled to stay calm when I was out on the street. When I got away from the event, that's when I broke down in tears. It helps to stay calm and think rationally during an emergency. Keeping a level head in a crisis is crucial to ensuring that everyone around you, including yourself, escapes danger without a serious injury or fatality. Utility workers, for example, face compound hazards every day. I saw one up on a pole today, and he hit the pole kind of hard with his basket, his cherry picker in the air. His cherry picker shook, and he got upset. I could see the stress on his face when his cherry picker hit that pole. It shook. That's normal. What makes it especially important is to remain calm and keep yourself organized during any kind of safety incident. When your colleague falls into a trench or gets struck by a falling hammer, a lot of us have had that happen. We don't fall in a trench necessarily, but we've had a hammer or a screwdriver fall on our toe or on our body. How can you remain focused and ready to still respond when you have something happen? How can you respond? How can you remain cool when everybody else is losing their heads? Okay? Nathan Hester's saying he has military ammo boxes. Ammo boxes are, for the most part, waterproof, except if you have a metal one. Metal ones can rust. Metal ones can leak moisture into it. They're not waterproof. Okay? You can put silicone on the inside corners and sides of them. That will help them keep waterproof. Okay? Anyway, to stay calm, to keep your head about you. I wrote this presentation down a long time ago. I call it the 3 Ps. Don Patoka has a similar word for the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps of emergency response are this: plan, practice, and stay present. Plan, practice, and stay present. Present. Be there when everybody else is losing their cool. Keeping your head about you when everybody else has lost theirs. Plan, practice, and stay present. Plan your plan. Write your emergency plan that we've talked about. I will still bet you there are people here in this emergency management family that we have that have not written an emergency preparedness plan. I will bet on it. I'm still asking everybody to do it. When you write your emergency preparedness plan, it might get long because it's going to cover any kind of emergency that you're going to meet in your lifetime or your children's lifetime. It might become long and extremely boring. But folks, it will help you. It'll keep you safe. Then after you've written your plan, practice it. Drill. Hold a drill at least twice a year. Practice your plan. Make sure it works. If some parts of it don't work, rewrite it. The good thing about emergency plan is this: it's a fluid plan. You can revise it at any time. Be sure to take your plan down and rewrite it on a frequent basis. Whenever you think of something that might be different than you've written, write it down and replace what you've written. Emergency plans can be revised at any time. Okay? Prepare your emergency action plan. Prepare your emergency action plan. Most companies are now required by FEMA to develop and implement an emergency action plan by law. But any organization can improve its safety by doing that. Any agency, any company can improve their safety by taking the time to prepare a plan. These plans set out vital information and they clear procedures to follow when an incident occurs. When an incident occurs, letting all of your family, all of your workers, spring into action without even wasting any time, because you have a plan and you practiced your plan. Okay? Don Patoka is right here. I love it. If you're scared, maybe you should be. If you don't have your crap squared away, you should be terrified. If you're truly prepared, you will be saying, "Thank you, Jesus, for the knowledge and the ability." I love it. That's perfect. Don Patoka says, bingo. Bingo. Awaken says, one thing I've learned over the past few years, you have to believe in yourself and trust you can and do what you set out to do. Believe in yourself. Don says, bingo. Grandma Deb says, amen, Don. That's exactly it. Using these words as check boxes for preparation. What, when, where, why, and how. If you're truly prepared, one will find it to be a work in progress. Hence, never ready, always preparing. Well said. Well said. Keeping emergency preparedness plans out in the forefront. If you have a business, let your entire employee base see your plan. Talk to them about the plan at a planning meeting once a month for your family or your workplace. Every workplace should have an employee meeting at least once a month. Your family. You should be sitting down with your family at least once a week. Have a family home evening together. Discuss a particular problem. Discuss a lesson. You can have a lesson set up for your family as an emergency family home evening, where you talk about safety and what's important for your family. Strong emergency action plans incorporate the following information: step-by-step emergency procedures. It's critical that each emergency action plan spells out clear and proven actions to take during, before, during, and immediately after a safety incident. These may include details of how to evacuate an area, how to contain a hazard, how to report a fire or other emergency. What if your yard is flooding? What if you have a fire coming up the backside of your yard? How do you alert your family? How do you alert the firefighters? If you have people that work for you, how do you alert your workers and the management and other activities that will reduce the risk of a bad outcome? How do you notify everybody to reduce the risk of a bad outcome? Emergency response teams. I belong to an emergency response team here. I belong to an emergency response team since early 2000s. The CERT teams, the community emergency response teams. They also have emergency action plans. Your emergency plan should also need to list the designated roles and responsibilities of each family member or crew member of your workplace. Don't forget everybody. Everybody. Make sure everyone has a responsibility. Those with first aid, you might ask those that know first aid and CPR to be in charge of first aid and CPR and areas around that. Okay? Make sure your people, your family have first aid certifications. You can still go to the American Red Cross and get those. Okay? Fire marshal. Those people that have fire experience. You can label them as a fire marshal for your family to make sure your fire extinguishers are checked on a regular basis. Make sure your water throughout your house. Make sure your hoses work. Make sure your pipes in your house are good. They're not going to flood your house. Additionally, you may want to make a list of every available location around your house that might be a problem for your family or your loved ones. If you have a business, you may want to make somebody in charge and maybe give them a badge. It will give them responsibility for each individual employee or each part of your business or every part of your building. A visual clue to make sure things are right in your house or your building. Okay? Richard Smith says, anyone needs spare gear? I have lots. That's a good thing to know. Thanks, Richard, for that. Let's make a note of that. Okay? If someone needs something, let's get a hold of Richard and see if Richard can help us. Okay? That's perfect. I love it. Nathan Hester says you can take a survival class or a class about what you do, what you can do. He says Mine Luster and many other places. Okay? Maps. We talked about maps before. Maps can have particular meaning. For example, if you're going to bug out, what are you going to do? How are you going to bug out? What routes are you going to take? If you're going to have to bug out, get a map and mark your routes on the map. Don't just have one route to your emergency operations place that you're going to go to. Have several routes in case one has barricades on it, another has police that are stopping people, or maybe there's accidents. Make sure you have a map showing various routes you're going to take. You can also make a map of your house. Make a map of your house showing hallways and various areas where family members can exit your house in an emergency. Okay? The evacuation point. Okay? Evacuation points. If you have buried gas lines around your house, find out what those are. Find out where your water main is. Find out where your gas main shutoff is. We've talked about this before. This is all critical infrastructure if you have a business or a family that you want to make sure you're all safe. Okay? Safety hazards. Safety hazards. Safety hazards exist all over your home. They could be water flooding areas. You may have a problem with flooding in your home. If you have a drain in the bottom basement of your house, that might back up from the sewer outside. What are you going to do for that? You can go to Home Depot or a hardware store and get a plug. They have plugs you can buy for as little as $5 or $10. Get a plug to shove down into that hole to make sure you don't get floodwaters in. Okay? We did when I was a kid in North Dakota. Okay? If you have bare wires in your home or your basement, why? Make sure you get an electrician or somebody that knows how to make sure you cover those things up and properly have them in place so you don't get a fire. If you have a business, make sure all of this is taken care of. Have a fire marshal assigned to your business. And I'm talking somebody with a background that works for you. Not an actual fire marshal from the fire department, but someone who works for you. Make sure they're way ahead on these hazard mitigation and appropriate controls of hazards in your workplace or your family. Okay? Take immediate intervention to make sure these problems are taken care of. Okay? Your plans should also be the best practice for you. Like I said, you can re-up these plans at any time. They can be revised. Customize your plan for you. Customize your plan for specific tasks and work environments. Customizing your plan will give you an opportunity to identify gaps in your safety. Okay? It will help you. Like I said, when it comes to your emergency plan, take it off the shelf at least twice a year. Dust it off and exercise your plan. Dust it off and exercise your plan. Make sure you discuss your plan at least with your family. I would say at least once a month. Once a month. With your employees in employee meetings, once a month. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some additional resources that might help you. I am affiliated with OSHA. I'm affiliated with OSHA. OSHA might help you. Give OSHA a call. OSHA. Give them a call, tell them who you are, and ask them if they might help you with your emergency plan for your home or your business. Especially your business. Okay? They can help you. Also, the National Safety Council can help you for your home and for your business. Okay? They can help you. There's also an organization called the Infrastructure Health and Safety Association. Emergency response planning for construction projects. You might think about that. Practice your emergency action plan. Like I said, at least twice a year. Plans help protect each and every member of your family. If you have a business, they prepare workers for emergencies. So if you have an emergency in your family or in your business, you will come out smelling like a rose. Your employees will work so well together that nobody will become injured or hurt, hopefully. Hopefully. They will execute your plan flawlessly if they know about it. That's what's key here. Make sure every member of your family knows what your plan says, what it is, and why you have a plan. Practice your plan. Make sure you drill it. How many times have I already said, take your plan off the shelf, dust it off, and drill it. Practice your plan. Drills keep roles, duties, and details clear in each member of your family's minds. Okay? When it comes to workers, it keeps duties, roles, and details clear and upper part of their minds of your employees. OSHA encourages organizations to arrange practice sessions for responders and personnel to rehearse the EAP together. First responders come out to businesses to help you exercise your plan. I've done that. Okay? It's a good idea to include outside resources such as fire and police departments to help you practice your drills whenever possible. Okay? After your drill, gather your family together and conduct an after-action report. Conduct an after-action report, an AAR, an after-action report. You can go over your drill, piece by piece, minute by minute if necessary, and go over what you did and how everybody reacted and what you might do better the next time. Okay? Evaluate your effectiveness of your drill. Identify the strengths and the weaknesses of your plan and develop ways to improve your plan. Keep training up to date. Keep your training up to date, whether you have CPR cards, whether you have first aid training, whatever it is. Keep your training up to date. It's critical. It provides your family members and your employees with experience and gives them useful tips as well. And practice understanding of your emergency operations plan. Okay? It equips your family members with additional safety skills to extend your emergency action plan when necessary and to address skills gaps. Skills gaps. Things that need to be addressed. Okay? The American Red Cross gives training and certifications. Contact the American Red Cross. The National CPR Foundation's First Aid Certification classes. Contact them. Stay present and take action ideally. If you have a safety incident in your home, make sure it never happens again, and if something happens, make sure you address it right then and there. When one does occur, your family needs to be put your action plan into effect. Put your action plan, your emergency preparedness plan, into action. Panic can cause overwhelmed family members to freeze when something occurs. Deep, structured breathing can help people calm down. Deep, structured breathing can help people calm down and help them respond. And be ready to respond when something happens. But even when you're prepared for a safety incident, even when you are all prepared for a safety incident, deep, structured breathing can help people respond and stay calm. Panic can still arise. Panic often still can arise. There is such thing called fight, flight, and freeze. Flight, fight, and freeze. I've seen it happen. Even on the most structured police and fire personnel. It can overwhelm people. It can overwhelm you. Stay with your purpose in hand. Keep the end result in the front part of your mind. That way you're not going to have time to freeze or panic. Okay? Keep the end goal in mind, making it difficult for anything else to come up to focus on. Focus on your main goal. Don't let any other thing come up that might impair your judgment. Keep your main goals in mind. Keep your emotions in check. I've had a hard time with that. When I've been very badly hurt, or when I've seen other people get very badly hurt or killed. I've had to keep my emotions in check until I finished handling the event, and then I can let myself down slowly. Communicating clearly is another thing that you need to practice. Communicating clearly and following the advice of those around you. Follow the advice of firefighters and paramedics around you. If you have questions about first aid, ask them. And re-ask them if you still have questions. Again, breathe deeply. Panic can cause hyperventilation, which can leave you feeling weak, lightheaded, and distracted. Focus instead on taking slow, deep breaths. Meditation also helps. Breathing deeply stimulates the body's parasympathetic nervous system, decreasing blood pressure, heart rate, and relaxing our muscles. Your breathing and calming yourself down will help you in keeping your head together. Take a deep breath in. Or deep in through your mouth. And let it out through your nose. Okay? As you breathe in, count 1, 2, 3. When you breathe in, you should feel your diaphragm underneath your lungs expand. On 3, pause your inhale. Exhale at the same pace. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Exercise that. Repeat it if necessary. Again, communication. Communicate clearly. Your emergency action plan of your home already should have a communication plan. A communication plan. We've talked about this before. But each member of your family must follow the plan as you designate it. Remember, speak calmly, speak clearly, especially if you're relaying important information. Especially if you're relaying important information from safety crews to members of your family, or from members of your family to safety crews. If you hear for someone call for a specific kind of help, make sure that matches your skill set or someone else's skill set in your home. Answer back loudly and clearly. Follow a clear chain of command. Follow a clear chain of command. Don Patoki, you got it right again, brother. The 4 pillars of preparedness: people, provisions, protection, and productivity. Not bad. Thanks, Don. Follow a clear chain of command with your family. Have a chain of command. Use a clear and designated emergency signal. Use a whistle. Use a whistle. I have several whistles here. I have several different kinds of whistles here. Okay? Each whistle has a different sound. You could use a siren. Some people can get themselves a siren. Some people use a whistle. Someone will use a flashing light from your flashlight. Some people have a flashlight. You can make it flash. Consider a backup communication plan in case your primary process is compromised by the emergency. Stay present. Pay attention to the scenario. Pay attention to your plan and remain ready to take action as comes needed. Okay? If necessary, check, call, and care. Check, call, and care. 3 simple steps to follow in the emergency. Check, call, and care. Check the person who may be injured. Call for an emergency response and provide care for any life-threatening conditions in line with your first aid training. Okay? This will help you. This will help you. Does anybody have any questions about anything we discussed tonight? I know I've gone over a lot of stuff. I know we have. But I think everything was absolutely necessary to talk about. Don Patogas here in the chat saying you may want to research things before they go sour. Primitive outdoor survival herbal medicines of the past and present, in case you might realize a surprise, a new normal. Wouldn't that be cool? A new normal. I would love a new normal. Think as if you will be camping for a year or so, not able to go back home or to civilization as you presently know it. Your domestic needs could be that of the 1700s in order to survive or prevail in your situation. Okay? Don says knowledge amid information is power when traveling the adventures of life. Only when we're well considered and we've executed plans of action, when those plans are employed, we will have success to prevail. The choice is yours. That's true. Any questions, guys? I'll take any questions from you at all. Space Force Pal says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's it. They would. That's why we've been talking about preparedness. Give them preparedness and give them knowledge. Help everybody to prepare. That's the bottom line. Okay? Space Force House says, no, it's a lack of knowledge, not like incorrect. Yes. Your lack of knowledge will perish. Okay? Don Patoga says the EMA family is always concerned and connected. Yes. Concerned and connected. Yet, exercise logic over emotion. Being proactively prepared and omnipresent with awareness. Okay? Thanks, EMA family, for being the best. And you are. You are all the best. We care about you. That's why we talk about this. We care about each member of our family here. Each and every one of you are very important to all of us. You're important to me. You're important to everybody that's here. Everybody that's part of the EMA family is important. Okay? We love you. We care about you. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I've had a long day. I had a longer night. I've not been able to be getting the rest that I need because of my medical situation here. And I got some medicine today to help me take care of that, and hopefully give me some sleep. It's not sleeping pills either. I won't take those. I'm not going to take those. Anyway, guys, I love each and every one of you. I want to thank Don for being here. I know he's had a lot of things going on on his plate, and I appreciate that. Each and every one of us does. May God bless you and protect you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. God bless you and protect you. Now, before I leave tonight, I have something that I want to show you. Somebody on Facebook showed me this yesterday. It's got a picture of a cat and a little girl. A grandfather was walking through his yard when he heard his granddaughter repeating the alphabet in a tone of voice that sounded like a prayer. He asked her what she was doing. The little girl explained, "I'm praying, but can't think of exactly the right words. So I'm just saying all the letters and let God put them together for me, because He knows what I'm thinking." Isn't that beautiful? That little girl knew what she was doing. She knew her Heavenly Father was listening to her and would make sure that He would make it right for her. Through the mouths of babes. Through the mouths of babes, we learn great things. Let's listen to our children. Let's listen to our grandbabies tell us important truths that can help them and help us. May God bless you this weekend. May you stay close to your Heavenly Father and listen. Pray. Pray and be believing, because all good things will come unto you when you listen. I love you. I hope you'll have a great evening. We will be back here probably about 1 p.m. on Sunday with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. We'll be talking about Thessalonians this Sunday. Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, about 1 p.m. on Sunday. I have a meeting in a place called Lenore, starting at 10 a.m. I hope to be back here by no later than 1 o'clock so we can start Sunday school about 1 o'clock. So be prepared for that. We'll be talking about Thessalonians, Paul's epistle to the Thessalonians. What a beautiful couple of epistles he wrote to the Thessalonians. Wonderful. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. If something big happens, we'll be back here tomorrow to talk about it. But I'm going to try to take tomorrow off. I need the time. I need the time. God bless you. Do know I love you. Do know that your Heavenly Father loves you very, very much. We will see you after everything's over. We will see you tomorrow, Sunday. We'll see you whenever the Lord provides us an opportunity to be together. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody.